Hello.
Hi,
Hey.
how are you?
I'm doing all right. Today's a pretty good day, I think. Just trying to get a lot of game work done today, and get my workout in before it gets dark after this lesson.
Cool, cool.
How about you?
Uh, Graduated yesterday.
Graduated?
Yeah, in computer science,
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's my same major. So awesome. Good
and
job. It's a lot of
yeah.
grueling repetition.
Yeah.
Like take the same class 8 times, and you graduate.
That's right. Yeah, and then I got a date later, so pretty
Oh,
good. Yeah, pretty good.
nice.
Yeah, pretty good time for me
Well,
right now.
first of all, you have an hour-long date with one of the worst matchups. So, so that
Good.
you can go have fun later, but for now we're in the trenches of sadness. So basically,
This is what I
Marth versus any floaty is one of the worst matchups in the game. So,
looking forward to it.
so all right, yeah. Do you just want to start on the VOD you sent me?
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. I'll screen share you.
Forrest was kind enough to play me. I literally did not find a single Marth in the bracket. And then I was like, okay, I'll just go on unranked and grind for Marth. So I just LRA started everyone who was not a Marth. And every Marth I played was just terrible. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, there's some pretty. There's a lot of day one Marths on there.
So I was like, okay, F this. I'll just go into the Marth Discord. And I just messaged every single top Marth because, like, they all have, like, their little, like, notable Marth or whatever. I just DM'd all of them, and Forrest was like, yeah, man, I'll play you. And I was like, dude, thank you so much.
That is the pure dedication. I like that. That's, you can see the stream, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me make sure that it shows up here. All right, perfect. Okay. So, all right, so what are your thoughts on this matchup so far, and, like, where do you feel like you're at with it?
So last time I feel like I had a game plan like more fleshed out than this time, but this time my ideas are more so like uh so I guess I'm just kind of jumping in front of where his fair range,
Mm-hmm.
um and I'm kind of deciding whether to mix up bear or nair at him, and at low percent hopefully combo that into up tilt rest, and then past that really just push him off. And then edge guarding I have a flow chart for, but I don't know if it's like unrealistic to go with it, and I'm definitely not implementing it yet because I'm not sure if it's unrealistic. What I'm talking about is the Marth Killer 2.0, if you know what that is.
Yeah, oh yeah, I didn't know that was a thing with Puff. I'd never seen it.
Yeah, it is. I lapped it out. I labbed it out with Zapdos.
Okay,
You can
yeah.
you can do it, but I have not been able to do it consistently. And then Reese said that you can do it consistently with a sound cue, but Dolphin is like I think 3 frames behind on the sound.
If
So
it's 5.
oh gosh,
It's
okay.
really, really, really late. It's like very frustrating.
And then other than that, I've seen Solo, which I never know when to implement this, but Solo likes to fly in. So if he's on the left side, he'll side cancel off the left side plat, but on the right side of the left side plat, if that made sense,
Yeah.
and come down with like an up air into rest, and he seems to consistently get that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure when to implement that. Uh, and then I think that's kind of it. I don't think I really have anything else worth talking about of value. That's kind of all I have so far, which is not very good. But
Okay. All right. Well, that gives me something to work off of. Okay. So before I even start, the most important thing to know is that if you are a floaty, you cannot hit Marth ever. Like that is basically like the law is that like you will never be able to like basically float in from the air and hit Marth. So this is basically Jigglypuff's one grounded matchup.
okay,
So that's just to open up is that like sort of like a like her normal game plan against every other character, where she does mix-ups while floating in, it doesn't exist, because his moves have too much range and they literally just beat everything she does. So
Okay.
this is like a very weird matchup where the only way to sort of make it kind of work is to play really grounded, because crouch is incredibly strong against Marth, and basically do quick back, and like, it's basically crouch and back air and like wave dashing are like the most important parts of the matchup, like quick back airs and stuff like that. And then another point is that you never want to be like your goal, like your entire goal with the matchup. So basically, I'll just give you sort of like a basic overview before we start. So like I said, you can't approach Marth from the air ever. He will always fair you or up tilt you or up air you every single time, or side B. Like, none of those angles that work against the other characters will work, basically. And so you're basically stuck. You're stuck grounded, and you're stuck sort of throwing out back airs and wave dashing around and looking for wave dash and grab and looking for quick back airs. And the idea is that, like, 95% of the time when you hit Marth, it means nothing. But Marth doesn't have answers to your close to ground options, like quick back airs and stuff, like short hop back airs. He doesn't have answers to them necessarily, because he's going to be dash dancing, so he doesn't have a lot of good options out of his dash dance. But they don't really get anything against him. So basically your goal is you sort of play this game where you just kind of hit him with random back airs like 50 times, and then at some point you'll probably like forward throw him off the stage at 150%, and then you get the edge guard. And that is like the basis of the stocks, of like, that is how the majority of stocks will go if the Marth is perfect. But generally the Marth will not be perfect, and they not even necessarily that like you're waiting for their mistakes, but basically you're going for all these little like, take my percent, take my percent, take my percent, take my percent, and then sometimes like you'll back air Marth and somehow, he'll be jumping to fair you or something like that, and instead of being on the ground and having it do literally nothing to him, you kind of get a hit that like gets him either above you or in the air in general, and then you just tear them apart, and then you get the stock for free. And from the Marth end, it feels really similar to that also, where like your standard stock against Puff is to literally just hack at her for like 5 minutes of like fair, 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 like dash dance fair, dash dance fair, dash dance fair, for like until she's at like 170, and then you kill her. And then Marth has situations in the same way Puff does, where like sometimes the Puff will somehow end up in a bad spot, and then Marth gets like a forward throw tipper early, or he gets you miss a rest and he gets an early kill or something like that. And so it's kind of like both characters kind of have to accept that like this is a matchup about building damage and not letting your opponent build damage on you. And most matchups are not like that. Most matchups are based on getting really hard openings and then converting off those openings. But this matchup is frustrating in a lot of ways for both players, because you can't guarantee strong openings. Like, your openers are the same as your damage dealers, so you're basically just doing your damage dealers until you somehow get an opportunity, and then you hit confirm that into your big opening. Because things like up air and stuff like that, like, you're just not going to have the opportunity to like sneak in on Marth and get those up airs like you would on Sheik or whatever, because his sword is just too big. And so, like, you can't really guarantee big up air openings or like an up tilt opening. Those are more like, okay, so the thing is, you mentioned up tilt rest. Up tilt rest is really good, and you do want that, but against any realistically good Marth, it will not happen very often. Maybe once a set, like in a best of 5, maybe. And so it's like, you mostly are going to want, like, for instance, like, you might crouch against Marth, and then he whiffs something on you, or he fares you and you CC it, and then like the best answer in a lot of cases is to just grab up throw, because then Marth is above you, which is the one spot you want him to be. Because basically if Marth is above you or he's like in the air, then your big openers actually do mean something. Like if you hit a bear, you might actually just get bear and then pop off, like Hungrybox, or you might get him off stage for an edge guard, or sometimes you'll like catch an up air, but like most of the time you're not going to get up air rest in this matchup almost at all. And so a lot of times your up airs only serve to get Marth, continue to keep Marth in the air for the possibility of like in a lot of matchups, the up air is what you want, because then you can land up air rest or something like that. But this matchup is like, even if you land the up air, it's mostly just so that you can get like a sharking back air, or whatever like that.
Okay.
So that is the basic overview. I will go over while you're playing and point out elements of that.
I don't know what was wrong with my Slippy player, by the way. It's going to be like this weird pace.
The Slippy file?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes things like that happen. Like it looks like a little slow, kind of.
Right.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. So I watch a lot of VODs in like half speed anyway, so like I know how fast melee goes. So I think this is good, where like you're not trying to like come off the platform and hit him, because this is just bad. So it's good that you come down here and then well, okay, so this, you don't really want to do this jump here because it doesn't really do anything. Like, so there's a lot of, the thing is Marth is not going to approach you from the air. And so a lot of times this sort of a jump, wait, where is it? This one? This jump works really well if somebody was like gonna dash dance and then approaching Fox approaches drill right here or something, because then you can jump back and then back air him. But Marth is basically never going to commit to that ever. And your goal against Marth is to basically sneak in underneath him. And if you're not going to sneak in, your goal should be to completely avoid him. Like in this situation, when you're doing kind of this thing, like there's not really a chance that you're going to be hit him if he plays safe. And if he's not going to play safe, he's going to do something weird like wave dash in F tilt or wave dash forward smash or something. And you're not really going to get anything off of this. So like this type of movement's not that good, because like we've talked about like the cone stuff for Jigglypuff, right?
Right, yeah.
Like her aerial drift. And like by jumping back like this, you reduce the space that your back air can cover by a lot. Like you jump like this and drift back. Your max range back air can only hit like here. So it gives Marth the ability to like take this space like really aggressively. So you got to watch out for that. And he does. You notice that? Like he sees that you do this drift thing, and so he knows that there's no threat, because the whole reason why being on the ground is so scary is because you can instantly jump backwards this way and do a quick back air. And so you have like this boom, boom. But from right here, you can't do that, and so it's just like it's just like a, generally try to avoid positions like that, and that's why being on the ground here is so powerful against Marth. Okay, he always gets stuff like that. Okay, that was fine. Yeah, so so this is like a situation where like obviously you messed up here because you were trying to like drop an up air on him, right? But
right.
Like even in this case, like I wouldn't really go for that. Like if you are not below Marth, like if you are above Marth here, your goal should be to literally run away on the platforms for as long as you need to before you can get down.
Okay.
That's all you can do. Because like notice that you're just in like a horrible spot here. Like there's just not a lot you can do there. And then Marth will do this thing where he basically like, you drift this way, he dashes this way, you drift this way, he dashes this way, and you basically like he can't cover everything, but he can like reasonably cover most things. And so the idea is you're just kind of trying to get down, or you go to ledge, and like he's gonna make it look like he's covering everything, but he's not actually. And he also can't, like he also can't really commit against you. Like basically if you're ahead on stocks, being in a position like this is really good, because Marth can't commit with like full hop jumps and stuff against you without heavily risking the idea that like you can just slip past him, and now he's above you. Because Marth on the platforms against Puff is like awful for Marth. Like Marth.
So
Yeah.
would it be an okay idea if I was ahead in stocks to circle camp Marth?
Sadly, yes. And I
Heck
was
yeah.
watching Hungrybox VODs before this to double check a lot of my thoughts on the matchup just to make sure I didn't misinform you about anything. And literally, he gets a stock lead and then goes blup, 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 blup,
Yes,
blup,
dude, I
blup,
love
and
matchups like
he just
these.
goes for the timeout. Every time he gets a stock lead, he goes for the timeout, and it's like, dude, this matchup is so stupid. Like, ah!
Dude, that just makes my job so easy. I just know. I'll just be like, okay, I'm ahead. Time to circle camp, baby.
Yeah, because like if Marth has to basically, the thing is you do like you can do the circle camping, but okay, so obviously it's dumb, right? Obviously it's stupid that you can circle camp Marth like that, but we're in terms of like if we're getting rid of the fact that it's super lame, right? Like when you are doing the circle camping, which you should be doing if you want to be optimal, it's like when Marth goes for his attacks on you, like your goal is not to camp Marth. Your goal is to camp Marth just enough that he tries to hit you, and then you sneak below him.
Ah, okay.
So like I'll show you like the video of Hungrybox doing it later in the lesson, and like basically he just goes like this and like this and like this and like this, and then Zane he kind of makes it like predictable. And then Zane comes up and tries to hit him right there, and then he just drifts like this, and now Zane's on the side plat, Hungrybox is here, and Hungrybox can do, up air mix-ups here, or back air, and if he's right here, and Marth is right here, and like, let's say Marth tries to shield drop fair, and Jigglypuff bears him out of it right here, he goes to here, and then she just goes blah, 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 and he's dead. So it's like, being on the platforms is the worst thing for Marth when Puff is below him. And so this is basically you're saying, look, if you stay on the ground, I'm never coming down, ever. And if you try to come up and get me, I'm going to get to the ground, and then you'll be above me. And that is like the algorithm, basically.
Okay.
So yeah. You don't ever put yourself in this spot, because this will never get you anything good. Like, this can only lead to suffering. Like, this is not, I know it feels like, well, maybe he'll up tilt me and I'll get my shield drop up tilt rest. Like, no. he's just gonna sit here, dash dance for a second, your shield will get smaller, and then he'll nair you or poke you somehow. Like, this is just scary. Like, basically you want to be constantly moving when you're doing this platform thing, and like the best thing you could have done right here is like, okay, so you do this is correct, and it looks like he's covering everything, but notice that he did have to read you here. Like, he can't cover it even though it looks like it. Because if you look right here, when you're getting back, it looks like, oh man, like if I come down here, he's ready. And he is. And then you're like, okay, now I'm back to center. And he's like, oh, I'm still ready. But then sometimes he ends up on the wrong side. But when he guesses the right side right here, you want to go back over to this side. Like, your goal is basically, you go back and forth, and your goal in the situation where your goal is to get down, not to camp him with a stock lead, is what I'm saying. Like, your goal is basically, you kind of go back and forth, and eventually he'll kind of make the wrong guess, left or right, and then you get back to the ground. And that's like, that is your goal, like, your way to get back to the ground. It's sad, but that's how it is. Okay, so now you get back to the ground, and this is like a big thing in the matchup where, like, so Marth is trying to zone out Puff all the time, and once you actually get close to Marth, you are free to basically do any mix-up you want, because you have a big advantage when you're up close to him. Because yes, he can grab you here, and it's scary, but if you crouch, obviously you crouch under the grab. Also, do you know how the grabbing the crouch works?
No.
Okay, so I don't know the exact specifics, but basically, right when Jigglypuff crouches, Marth can't grab her, but if she stays in crouch, then Marth can grab her.
Right, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically, like, a thing you probably like a good thing to do here when Marth is crouching, like when Marth is crouching here, the idea is not actually to hit Marth. Like, this is a situation where he is giving you, this is bad by him, by the way, but he's basically giving you an opportunity to get close to him. So a lot of times the best answer here is to land right next to him, because then he has to fear up tilt rest, right? Because if you land, if you just tomahawk right here and you crouch, then he can't grab you. If he down tilts you, you CC it and can potentially like grab him. If he can't really dash dance because he's in the corner, like what is he gonna do there, right? Like if you get in his face and you crouch right here, Marth doesn't have a lot of good options, and he has to watch out for both your up tilt into rest and your grab into either down throw, up throw, or forward throw. So. Okay. This is the thing that happens a lot in the match, where it's like, yes, you want to be getting this back air stuff to deal damage, but then you have to be very cognizant of like, okay, I'm doing the back air, okay, I'm doing the back air. Oh, is this a situation where I might be able to get more than the back air? And so it's kind of like you have to be ready to deal like that consistent percent with back air while not falling into a habit of just bearing Marth every time you have the chance.
Makes sense.
So yeah, this would be a great spot to just land and crouch, and then usually I would suggest go land, crouch, and then grab here. But okay, so here's a situation. This is like where the movement works really well against most characters, but not against Marth. Like he wave dashes in here. This is where you either crouch in place here or you wave dash crouch, and this is where the movement against Marth is really unique. Because if you actually think of his options here, he doesn't have anything that can kill you except for a 50-50 out of grab.
Okay.
So, like, he doesn't have a lot that can do anything to you. Like, he can't threaten anything huge by coming in here. The only way he gets a really big advantage here is if he hits you and then you're in a bad position. Like basically the matchup is sort of played on these like positions that are more important than, like I said, like big openings, like a lot of other matchups. And so this is a situation where like by doing this, you do his job for him, because like so notice that he's shielded here because he's wave dashing in. He doesn't have a lot of good options. The thing is like even if you hit him here, like you hit his shield, like if let's say you were here and then he like wave dashes in like right here, like what if you just throw out another bear, and he's worried about that, and he doesn't really have a way to actually do anything to you if you just crouch and wave dash here. So like by doing this, you then create this situation, because remember like what I said where like you can't actually hit Marth from here ever. Like you literally are not going to get a hit here ever, pretty much. And if you are, it's like a hit that he knows exactly when it's coming and he can just ASDI down it. Like you're not going to get a big opening here ever. And right. So like basically when you're grounded, you have the chance to up tilt rest. You have the chance to maybe at this percent you can get an up air rest. I'm not really sure. Usually, or like up air and then he lands on the platform and misses a tech and you rest or something like that. And then like, or just like wave dash grab, because the grab is really big at a percent like this because you can down throw it. It might knock him down onto the platform and all that kind of stuff. But a position like this, the only move you have to hit him with is back air, which is the only move that's not really going to do a lot. And then also you're almost never going to win this. So you basically give up a good position to go up to platform, which is a good position in every matchup basically except for this one. Notice that, so I actually don't like that this guy does this where he backs off here, because this is actually a great spot for Marth, but also notice that he's not threatened at all. So he lets you get back. So I know this is Forest, but also he's playing this kind of stupid right here because like he literally like puts himself in the corner for no reason. This is like right. This is like just bad from him. And like, so yes, he gives you back the stage. So, we can ignore your error. I mean, obviously it was still an error, but like you got out of it for free. So now you're back in like the normal game. Notice that this is that movement again. Where you do like this. Notice that he moves in as soon as he sees this. Watch. So you jump like this and he moves back, and then watch, he sees this and he's not moving. And as soon as he sees you drifting to the right, he instantly comes in. Because he's like, oh, sick, like you got rid of your own cone. So the answer to do right here, because the thing is if you short hop right here from like if you short hop from this range, he knows your back air can only reach like here, like boom, right? And so that's why the answer in this situation is to wave dash to here, because if you're here, he's expecting this jump back, and he's like, oh, I'm safe from it. But if you now wave dash to here, now the back air can hit him, and he's under a lot more pressure, even if you're not doing anything. And the wave dash allows you to like remain on the ground. Okay. And if you wave dash and crouch, and he wave dashes up and down tilts, you'll beat him. You'll win that situation anyway because you're crouching. So it's like wave dash in here, crouch, and then maybe go for a back air pressure is the right answer in that situation.
Okay.
I think you did that same jump again, and he's just like, oh, sick, and then hits you for it, yeah. Okay, and then you're in this situation, which is just like, it's awful. Like, this is so bad for Puff. Like, when you're in this situation, you're trying to get back. The best answer is usually to just go high and go to the platforms if you can. And then you can kind of end up in this... It's like, basically, you either want to go drift, like, at this angle to ledge, and then try to get him to, like, throw out a move and then kind of go high, or, like, just go high. Because, like I said, if he commits, like, let's say you go to here, and then he jumps up to hit you with, like, a full hop fair or something, and then you just go, whoop, and you're underneath him here, now he's basically, like, gonna lose. So he doesn't want to commit. His goal is to just prevent you from entering this space, and he's disturbingly good at it as Marth. Like, you just... It feels awful, right? Like... So yeah, okay, that was fine. It's just not... It's not a great spot for you, but, okay. So now you're here. Notice that he goes for this down air here because he's about to be put in such a bad spot. So he comes up to try to get you, and then you're like, oh, hey, guess what? Now I'm right here, you know? And, like, I think in his brain, he probably sees that he got into this bad position here, and he expects you to try to jump up and up air him right here. And that's why he does this and goes for that. And so it's just, that's his way of getting out of a bad position. So this is fine. Okay, that was fine. Notice that you did the crouch here, which is like the thing I was talking about. And like, he's like, doesn't have a lot of options. So he up-B's out to just try to escape from the danger. Okay, you're in this situation again. This is good. Yeah, once again, this is an okay back air, but you really want to focus on getting down to the ground, because if he was perfect, he would have just hit you for this. He happened to be wave dashing, but he shouldn't have been, so... Like, really, it's like the ground is your safe point. How do you die here? Okay, yeah, so the other thing is that another reason why, especially at kill percent, like, basically you can live in this situation for a long time. The only thing that Marth has that kills you, outside of down smash, which we're not going to count because it kind of doesn't hit often enough for it to be super relevant, like, is, like, up tilt is basically his only kill move. Like, if you think about it, like, what does he have? And it's, like, literally just up tilt. Or, like, tipper fair at, like, 170. So it's, like, he doesn't have a lot of options to kill here. So when you are at higher percent, like, up tilt kill percent, you want to cling to the ground even tighter than before. If you watch Hungrybox at these percents, he literally, like, will run away, grounded, wave dash, wave dash, wave dash. It could be, and the main reason for that is that most his moves won't kill you, and if he only has a few setups to up tilt, which are like single hit nair up tilt, or he's got side B up tilt is a really common one. But even at this percent, I'm almost certain at this percent, you can still CC his side B. Okay. But if he hits you with the side B and you're in the air, there's a high chance you're going to get side B up tilted. But if you're crouching here and he side B's you, you actually get like a punish. So it's like, yeah, it feels scary, but this is really like not a bad position for you as long as you play in like a very limited way to like avoid his like one kill move. Okay, so he puts himself in a bad position here. This doesn't make any sense by him to full hop here or double jump up here. But as soon as he's up here, this is great for you. And yeah, so this is as soon as Marth is up, as soon as Marth is above you, you need to be in the air.
Okay.
Because if he comes down on you in this spot, you're actually not in that great of a spot. But let's say you full hop up right here. Now he's in a really bad spot. Because if he wave dashes off on either side, you're going to double jump back air him right here. Or just full hop and then back air. And then he's in one of these awful situations, even at 30, where you can just carry him off with back airs. So, like, you want... But if you're here, and, like, let's say he comes down here, and then you get him with a back air, he might be too close to the ground already for you to, like, get what you really want. And especially, like, what you did, where you kind of go for, like, a crouch into, like, a grab read here. Like, it's basically, you took a great situation, and you turned it into a somewhat positive situation. And so by getting in the air here, you can keep this great situation and, like, make the most use out of it. Yeah, and you really got to watch out for this down tilt here. Like...
Actually, when that happened, I was like, oh my god, Fiction's going to see that.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I don't know, this happens all the time. And the other thing is, look, it didn't do anything to you. You know, like, you're not in that bad of a spot. It's just something of kind of like, right.
Yeah, it's like, use your eyes, man. Come on.
And basically never nair. Like, basically never use the move nair against Marth. It's worthless.
That's so funny, because Michael uses it all the time.
The Michael the Puff?
Yeah. 41 billion.
Yeah, like, the thing is, like...
But he also does that jump that you said never... That's where I got it from.
Yeah, I think he might not be that good at the matchup then, in my opinion. Like, here's the other thing, is this matchup is not very developed from the Puff side at all. This is one of, like, the least developed top-tier matchups. And so, most of the things that you're going to hear me talking about are, like, basically Hungrybox does it the best that I have seen. And so a lot of it is based on what I see Hungrybox do and what I think rationally is the best to do. But there are going to be situations where there's... Like, basically, if I watch 5 Hungrybox sets and he doesn't do a nair a single time, I'm going to say you probably shouldn't be nairing. Because if you should be nairing, I guarantee you Hungrybox would have found that it worked. But, like, there might be some nairs in, like, a very specific spacing that, like, I don't know about that, like, could be good. Because, like I said, it's a difficult matchup to talk about because it's really very underdeveloped. And, like, the closest we have is Hungrybox versus Zane. So, yeah. So, basically, the problem with the nair is that it lasts too long. And so, basically, like... It's like, if you hit Marth with the initial first part of the nair, you kind of might as well have done a back air or a forward air. And then, if you can't hit Marth with the first part of the nair, you're stuck in nair, and he just gets to space around you and hit you. Right. And so I would say, in this situation, if you want to nair, I think it's better to down air here. If you want the meaty hitbox, I think down air is significantly better, based on what I've seen.
Okay.
And I can show you, there's like a moment in a Hungrybox set where he uses that. That was really good. That was, like, crazy good. What in the world? Like, that hits, and then you hit that back air. That was crazy. Good job. Ridiculously good edge guard.
That's the only good thing I do this set.
Yeah, so. Ridiculously good edge guard. Okay, good. You got down. So, yeah. So the thing is that so now you're here, but doing and so there once again there's that jump that doesn't really do anything. All it does is you do this, and then Marth goes, "Sick! I get half an inch of space," you know, and now you're more in the corner, and it's like it doesn't help you. Yes, if he does something stupid, you might get a punish, but he's not. if he's good. This full hop is like useless, like because basically it's like if you're up here, your goal is to get down. So by putting yourself up here, Marth knows you now have to get down, so it like creates more steps for you to actually fight.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you're trapped up on the platforms right here, your goal from here is to get down. And you do that. But then you go back up. And it's like, that doesn't fix anything. If you do this and Marth just runs underneath you and just jump late fair, you have literally nothing that can do anything to him at all. And he gets free pressure. Whereas if you're on the ground and he jumps up like that and you wave dash in and shield or wave dash in crouch, he's in a lot worse of a spot. And if he actually makes a big commitment in the air already, like if Marth is already in the air, feel free to do this jump back thing because then you're just using it to space.
I see.
So, like, basically, like, if Marth, let's say you're right here, and you were on, let's say you're just standing on the ground. If you just sit here and crouch on the ground, there's nothing Marth can do here that will kill you. Like, at all. Or even, like, vaguely. The only thing he can do is he can, like, run up, grab you, and in that case, you might just want to do crouch, and then uncrouch and crouch again, and you like, he'll be terrified of that. Like, that's just so scary as the Marth to know that, like, you might do a run-up with a grab at 0, and then Puff does, you know, just arrests you and you DI badly and die or something. So, like...
That's so smart. I never thought about crouch, uncrouch, crouch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, like, it's what you're communicating to the opponent. And, like, even if, you know, you're not, like, always able to block everything Marth does, you're kind of like, okay, I'm crouching. Oh, I'm crouching again. Like, do you want to... Come on, man. Come grab me. Oh, crouch again. You know? And he's like, I don't really want to, like, try to grab that, you know? Like, it feels pretty bad. So, like, if... let's say if Marth jumps at you here and goes for this fair, then you can do this because then you're ready to whiff punish his fair.
Right.
Like, you do this, and then he lands, bam, and you fair him. But, like, otherwise, in neutral, all this does is give him a little bit of free space.
Yeah, this is going to be painful to watch now that I know that, because all I'm going to do is that jump a lot more and be like, ugh.
The thing is it didn't actually lose... It doesn't lose you that much, you know? Like, that's the weird thing about this matchup, is that, like, as long as you don't do the big things wrong... It's just kind of gonna slowly unfold anyway, and like most of the time they can't hit each other. Like remember he was doing dumb stuff too, where he went into the corner and all that stuff, and it's like, did it matter? Like, no, not really. Like the characters can't interact enough for it to be like a thing. So okay, so this is like a rare situation where the Nair is totally acceptable.
It doesn't kill though.
It doesn't kill?
No, I was crying.
Okay, well he did like perfect DI here. So if it had happened to cross up, he would have died. So like I think this was a very good play by you. I'm not gonna say that was a bad play just because he somehow lived arrest at like freaking 20%. Like that's just insanity. So that was just really good DI by him. And look at it, like nothing goes bad for you, you know? Like so that was obviously good. Okay, so you go with this. So this is a really common move that Marth will do, and this is one of the most basic mix-ups in the matchup, is if you jump and you back air his shield, in this situation, you always want to land behind his shield.
Okay.
Because, okay, I don't want to say always. There are situations where you can't land behind his shield, and in those cases, you might want to drift away. But
like frequency like 90%, something like that.
So... It's basically based on the spacing, but also like it's okay, so landing behind Marth's shield obviously really good, you know, so you want to do that as much as possible, but there are plenty of cases where you can't, so I can also want to talk about those where like your goal is to get grounded again as soon as possible if you can't get all the way away, because watch what happens here is you do this. And then he gets out of this, and then he down tilts you, and so he could have gone for something else here, but he didn't want this same thing. If you had fast fell a little bit faster after this, I think you would have had like more frames, like to do like back air, and then like you don't fast fall it because you want to get more spacing, but like getting away from Marth doesn't really help you. It's about being on the ground that helps you. So like if you did this back air and you fast fell, and even if you landed right here. You know, you're not in a bad spot. Even honestly, right here, you're not actually in a bad spot. But it's just something to keep in mind that this is a really common mix-up where you back air and Marth shields, and you're gonna have to like try to decide what to do. And a lot of puffs, what they'll do there is they'll short hop back air and they do no fast fall and they drift back and then they try to double jump here, and then Marth just fares out of shield and hits them. Like they'll do like this and they try to double jump, like boom, double jump, Marth fares. So it's like a lot of times it's just really important to know like what is good for you in the matchup and what is bad, and like situations that might feel like they're kind of bad aren't actually that bad because Marth can't actually do a lot to you. So just something to keep in mind.
Right.
So yeah, you get this, you don't fast fall it. Yeah, this gets you miss a CC, you catch that one. Yeah, that was fine. I think you could have rolled here. Like right here, I think you could have rolled, but it's kind of ambiguous, so it's fine. But this is a situation that's kind of scary when he like grabs you like right here. I'm not sure exactly on the optimal DI here. I think you're supposed to DI away, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so you survive that. Notice when you go high, this is pretty rough for Marth because then Marth has to kind of cover high. And then as soon as he covers high like this, you can sneak back to the ground. Which you seemed like you messed up. It looked like you were trying to go down to the ground and you got caught on the platform here. But yeah, so then you end up here. You go for this back air, which is okay, but because you're approaching from the air, Marth just beats it.
Right.
Like, it's very frustrating. Yeah, so this, I don't know how this even happened. He comes up here. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to be on the same plane as him. As soon as he lands on this platform, just go underneath him and start sharking here.
Set grab.
Yeah. And so look at, this is another situation where like you have him here, you have 4 more jumps here to pressure right here, you know.
Right.
You can jump up, you can drill, you can back air here, you can wait a second. So then even here when you land, that's fine, but you should immediately be full hopping again, because it's like, what does Marth have here? Oh, he can drop from the platform and do a down air. Like that is his only option against you here, and it's like, first of all, that's not going to kill because it'll just hit you into the ground. And second of all, it's going to miss like a ton of times and you'll get a free punish. So it's like, just pressure here as hard as you can.
Okay.
But instead you kind of do this passive pressure thing where you stay on the ground and he gets out of his worst situation again. And these tippers are going to happen, but it's kind of a lucky tipper and it didn't happen until like kind of high percent. So like basically, I think this happened because you chased him too obviously into the corner, but these will happen from time to time. Actually, I think that was just a really good movement by him. I think you could just give him credit for that.
Do we want to look at an H-box set?
What?
Do you want to look at an H-box set?
Yeah, we can do that. I didn't realize how much time had passed. Okay. So, is this game 1 here? Okay. So, yeah, so notice that staying grounded, he's going for some early mix-ups, but here's that situation where, like, notice that he's not trying to go to platform here or something. You know, he takes center, and he's using this crouch wave dash stuff primarily, and, like, look at the shuffle back air. So it's like this, like, super, super late back air. So then he's grounded here, and then he CCs this, and he goes for and he hits the fair here. And notice that, like, neither of them has gone for any, like, hard openings. Like, Zane goes for this, because he catches Hungrybox crouching too long, and that's just because Zane is crazy. That's exactly the type of mix-up you want. So this is obviously a bad decision by Hungrybox. So he's doing this, and this isn't great, but, it's kind of like just stalling for time here because he knows Zane is playing conservatively. But then this decision he makes is obviously like freaking dummy-dumb decision-making, and he just gets hit for it. Like, you can't come down on Marth from that position. Like, I think, obviously, like, notice there's not a single moment during any of this where Hungrybox can gain an advantage. Like, that's just, like, bad play right there. That was bad, too. You'll never win those situations. That was bad, too. He's being super lazy. I don't know what he's doing. He plays pretty well this set. So he gets down to the ground. Notice he's going for those grabs in the corner. There's that down tilt. It happens. Yeah, so okay, that was actually a garbage stock by Hungrybox, and you good because he just got destroyed for it. So there's like the pressure as soon as Marth is up in the air. Zane is crazy at connecting those to get like the some percent. There's the up tilt. Yeah, this is a bad game by Hungrybox. Holy moly. He definitely warms up during this set and starts playing better. But like, this is bad. This is bad so far. Great. Yeah, that was a really good back throw he does. And then, yeah, the edge guard. It's like when he plays to the game plan that I'm presenting, it's going really well. And then he... Yeah, no, okay, I'm skipping this game. He's playing like a moron this game. And he probably loses.
Yeah, they go to Dreamland, so he must.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so he's playing dumb this game, and he dies for it. Like, he's just playing super scared and, like, bad. And so, like, yeah, okay, he's just not executing the game plan correctly at all. So I think this, like, the retreating full hop here is more okay than the short hop because you still have space to like drift back here. So I think it's okay that he's doing that. Like there's the aerial, there's the notice that he goes for the up throw because this is really good at 0 because you get Marth above you, which is what you want, and then he just goes for the heavy pressure on the platform there. Yeah, and you can't really get a lot of big openings, so he's just sort of focusing mostly on the damage. Here's the grounded neutral, which you don't see in a lot of other matches, which is just wave dashing like that. Okay, there's the solid edge guard. He gets caught. Oh, there's the multi crouch. See that? And notice how Zane is like, "Here I come, Hungrybox," and then he's like, "Oh, maybe not." Because he sees the multi-crouch, he's sweating. It's not what you want.
That was a quick tomahawk.
So yeah, and here's like another example of like the grounded mix-up where like most matchups Puff wouldn't be going for that kind of stuff, like the shield grab and read the spot dodge, but like against Marth, the grounded mix-ups are actually kind of like the way to go. Oh, and then here's this. Or Hungrybox does this thing. I think it might be after the first stock, but he just literally camps this match so hard. I just want to show you what he does for the circle camp. I think Hungrybox takes a lot of unnecessary risks in this matchup, to be honest. Like I said, the matchup isn't fully developed, but like when he follows, like basically I take the parts where it looks like he's doing well, and then I figure out why, and then I try to break that down into like a game plan of like what kind of, and also based on playing it as Marth a lot. And
so could you circle camp here forever in this position?
He does. He actually does. You'll see. So, like, I don't know why he keeps doing stuff like this, because, like, notice, like, he thinks he's being tricky here, and he doesn't realize that, like, no, you're not being tricky. Like, you just lose that situation every time. Really good read by Zane there. So, yeah, so what happens in this match is, notice that it's not like the other matchups where Puff kind of gets beat up and then gets these random quick kills. It's kind of just like they're both just kind of beating on each other over and over. And then here's this case where like you might think a nair was the right option, like right here, you know, like drift the nair into here. But that's where the down air is better.
Okay.
And then, yeah, there's the fair edge guard. This is so good against Marth. That one. And then, okay, yeah, he gets that. Zane's recovery against H-Box is really good. There's the crouch. This is like the type of mix-up you want to do when you're up close. Crouch grab. And I'm pretty sure he just camps this game out like 5 ever now. I remember this. I think it's this game that goes to like, it goes down to like a minute. Oh wait, no. Was that the other set that he does that? We'll see. Let me see. No, actually, I think this is a quicker one. Let me find the other one where he circle camps.
Yeah, perfect. Because I have no shame. I will get a lead in circle camp.
Okay, Hungrybox. Zane. It's this one, I believe, and it's yeah. So Hungrybox gets the advantage, and then he just like freaking runs. And like notice that Zane can't really like commit up here easily. Man, what a great best player. Best player ever. I actually do think he plays the matchup better in this set than in a lot of ways than he did at Genesis. Because he's a lot more like ruthless. So yeah, so he ends up in this situation, I think.
Oh, this is the legendary pop-off set.
Yeah, I think it is. Dude, he camps so hard this game. So look, notice that he can play in a way of not dying to Marth because every time he's gonna interact, he does grounded mix-ups. So
what do you think about those bears like over there? Do you think they're just unnecessary commitment?
Like that bear that he's doing?
No, so go. It's like these.
Those are so he has aerial control. I don't know.
Komodo hates when I do those.
Okay. I mean, it's basic Jigglypuff, so it's basically like if you jump as Puff, you don't have full aerial velocity. You know about that, right? That like when you do an aerial jump, that if you aerial, you get full aerial velocity on frame 1.
Well, now I know.
Okay, so basically how it works is like, here, let me just show you really quick. So the reason why Hungrybox is always doing that is because if I do this, I have to accelerate. So look, I do this. Notice how I jump, and I have to like accelerate backwards.
Right.
But look, if I jump forward and I bear, I have full velocity instantly. There's no acceleration window.
I would have never seen that unless you pointed that out, honestly. But that's so...
So that's why when Hungrybox is doing this, he's doing this, because otherwise he either has to like turn around jump, which is awkward because then you have this situation and you don't have the bear coming in. Like if I do this, then I kind of have to do that. So you kind of end up in these situations where you're like, and it's just like, look at how much I can move around like this versus...
Yeah.
So what it does is like it makes it so that I can jump straight up here. I don't actually have to pick a direction. I just jump straight up and I can get aerial velocity instantly in either direction. Like perfectly. Instantaneously. So that's why you do that, because you can do that rather than like this. And so turning around like this gives you the same velocity as doing the back air. But like I said, you turn around. And if you try to do this, you have to do like that. Like, that's drift back versus that. So that's why you do those back airs. And that's why, that's why he's doing them, is because it gives him a lot more aerial control right here. And it's not actually like a waste, like at all. So.
Oh, okay.
That is why he's doing it, and it's interesting that any Puff main would be against that. Because that is why he's doing that here, is because otherwise he has to face Zane, which he doesn't want to do, like forward, or it just basically makes these midair jumps super awkward because you have to be aware of your turnaround, and if you don't turn around, you have to like wait to like build momentum, and it makes Puff a lot easier to hit. So that's why he does those. But now you know. That's actually like one of the main points of like Puff movement. So I'm glad that I didn't realize you didn't know that, so it's good that you know it now.
Yeah, that is good.
It's like the number one and most important part of Puff movement. So now you'll be top 20.
Oh heck yeah. That was it. That was the key right there.
That was the key. That was it. I did notice in your movement there were times where like that was happening, and I was kind of curious why you weren't using the back airs like that. So it's like, notice like these aerials aren't all intended to hit, but they all give him extra aerial drift. So that's why he's doing them. And if the opponent runs into it, then that's fine. Dude, look at this pressure. Like, this is actually like what you can do against Marth as Puff. Like, you can't really do that against any other type of character. But you can against Marth, because when you're up close to him, his only option out of shield is to grab you, and you can crouch it. So therefore, you end up with all these interesting options.
Hmm.
And then he's like, I am the best player in the world. I'm the best player in the world. And he just floats away for like 15 minutes. But the important thing also is that when he's floating around like this, he's secretly waiting for Zane to overcommit. So watch. So the reason why he comes down here into the corner is because he's really hoping that Zane jumped up to the platform here. See, like that? He's like, oh, is he coming up to the platform? And he comes down, because then if Marth is here, he has a great spot. And he goes, he didn't. Okay, I'm back up. And then, obviously, he's making a bunch of mistakes, too, because this matchup isn't that developed. So you're going to see him do some really good things and some really bad things. So, yeah, so he just keeps playing like this. And it's basically like Marth doesn't really have any moves that can kind of kill Puff at this point. And so Hungrybox is basically saying, like, okay, we're in like a damage building war, but I'm a stock ahead. So it's a lot more brutal when I get my damage openers. And then also, Zane, if you make a dumb mistake, I will catch you above me. And then notice that he's not waiting on the ground when Zane is above him on the platform. So like when Zane is up here, notice that he's not waiting here and looking for the shark from here. He just immediately goes up into the air and he's trying to get the shark there.
Right.
Top level.
I kind of really love how much you hate this.
I hate it from both sides because I know it's optimal for Puff. Like, this is what he should be doing here. And it's just like, man, that's stupid. So yeah, so he's doing this camping thing. Zane overcommits once to the platform, and Hungrybox is like, hey! And then he just gets this opening, and then he can capitalize on it to, like, do a lot more.
So an overcommitment is equivalent to just basically, well, maybe there's more than that, but if he goes, all I'm saying is if Marth goes on a platform, that is an overcommitment.
Yes, if he lands, well, the thing is he is making a read where you're going to be. And you notice that there was that thing in the other match we were watching where Zane somehow got on the side plat and up-tilted him. That's right. Like, it's not always an overcommitment, but it's a possible it is a commitment. And so as long as you make it that when he lands on the platforms, that you don't get hit by his read and you get underneath him, then it was an overcommitment by him.
Okay.
That's when you're in a good spot. Oh, here we go. Look, this is an exact situation. I'm so glad this came up. So here's this spot. Remember when you were right here with the back air?
Right.
Literally in this exact spot. So the important thing here is that the reason why he doesn't cross up here is because he wants to keep center control. So he would have probably crossed up here if this was like, if he was in the corner. But because he has center and Zane is in the corner, and especially at like a percent where a back air could actually send Zane into like an edge guard, he doesn't go for that. And instead, he lands here. You notice how you tried to retreat here? He just lands here because that's actually more uncomfortable for Marth. And notice, so Zane goes up to the top platform. Notice that Hungrybox does not wait for him. He sees him in the air, and he's instantly throwing out aerials up here. Because you basically get mix-ups for free. And yeah, he's just dragging this out, and he's saying, so look, here's the situation again, where he's waiting. Then Zane comes up here, and Hungrybox goes, okay, this is the first part of the commitment. Let's try to get him to make a second part. So Zane makes the double jump here, and Hungrybox goes, sick, and he just rushes down to the ground. But he doesn't... Honestly, it probably would have been better here, based on like what we've been talking about. Obviously, this is really difficult for him to react to, but if he from right here floated to here... Like, if he floated past him and here, and then did pressure here, that would have been the best thing. But instead, he takes going down to the ground, he realizes he doesn't get an opening, so he just comes back up here.
Okay, so if we're even or I'm behind, I need to be hugging the ground and going for quick bears and mix up on his shield. And if I'm ahead, that's when I start circle camping.
Mix up on his shield and then crouches up close. Like, you're going for, like, crouch grab. You're going for CC grab. You're going for, like, quick bears. You're going for down air grab at, like, mid percents or something like that, you know? And you're basically trying to get Marth. Like, basically, if Marth is doing everything perfectly, you can never guarantee these big openings. You're kind of going to end up repeating situations where you're just sort of building damage, which is the reason why both these players are at such a high percent damage right now. And it's like, so you're going to end up doing that, and your goal is to try to use grabs and your moves, and usually it's going to be grabs, or Marth jumps and does a bad overcommitment to get Marth above you into positions where you can potentially do multiple back airs in a row and carry him off the stage. That's generally going to be your biggest kill. Like when you get a big opening, it's going to be like back air, back air, back air into like an edge guard. And so like, yeah, so that's what you want to do. And then when you're ahead, you basically just platform camp and hope and wait for him to make an overcommitment. But yeah, like Hungrybox just, he drags this stock out. And notice that like, even though he's at, like, the fact that he's at high percent, like basically you either want to be unhittable and like far away and floating against Marth, or you want to be right in his face. So like Hungrybox is right here. He feels comfortable in this range against Zane at this percent because Marth doesn't really have any options to kill here. And notice that Zane tries to create the space so that the tipper will work. And then it doesn't, so then Hungrybox ends up like this, and he's kind of in that spot again. And look, so these are these late bears that he does. Like shuffle late bears are really good. So it's like this, and then bam, instant like late bear. Because he's hitting the latest bear so that he can crouch as soon as possible. And he has the most like shield advantage. There's the roll. Notice how he hasn't done a single one of those like short hop away kind of things. He'll use the full hop there, but not the short hop, because the full hop, and then when he does the short hop, it's like super approaching.
Right.
And then there's the shield into forward throw, and then he gets the edge guard. Or he goes for the edge guard, I should say. Yeah, and then we'll just watch till the end of this game. So yeah, he's running away.
Let's go.
Zane can't really do anything. He eventually gets like a kind of standard back air, but he's at a high enough percent that it kills. This is like the kind of stock you have to learn to expect, is that at 185, you finally land a back air, or like 179, your back air finally kills, and you're like, nice. Like that's like a normal that's like a normal stock against Marth.
That's a good honest day's work.
Yeah, literally. That's good honest work. That is how it is. That's the honest work. So yeah, he's building the damage, and then he gets this really good up tilt read, where he floats past him, and then up tilt somehow pokes there, and he gets this kill. So, yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much. I think we covered a lot of the basics in the matchup, and sort of went over like sort of like the basic points, and there is a lot of room for creativity within those constraints, because like I said, the matchup is not fully developed, so you can come up with things that'll work, and there's no one who can really tell you otherwise, because like it's not that developed. But like there are parts of the matchup where like if you go to the platforms, like you saw that game on Yoshi's where Hungrybox kept trying to like come in from the air, it's just destruction. Like you can't do anything ever, you're just dead. So it's like, it's very important to like play really safe, to get down to the ground, then go for like the short hop mix-ups and the crouch and the shield mix-ups really close to the ground. Be honest, build up damage, but look for the opportunities where Marth might have overcommitted, or he might DI your back air wrong, and then you get these back air loops into an edge guard, or a grab into a throw into an edge guard, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, do you have any additional questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna send you this picture at the end, because I thought it was quite funny. So after you taught me the Sheik matchup, I ended up playing Plank, and this is game 2. I get rolled backed on, and that doesn't connect. But that was, so like basically like I went from like total like loser at Sheik matchup to should have taken game off Plank.
That's pretty good. I'm glad that the previous lesson helped a lot. It probably helped a lot, because you started doing like the basic game plan against Sheik, and you're like, why is this working? Like I'm not even like it almost works like before you're even able to like do well with it. You know what I mean? Like you haven't, even if you haven't practiced it that much, the game plan against Sheik will actually just like work.
Yeah, like I still don't have it like super fleshed out. Like
exactly, yeah.
But just the basic game plan got me to a point where I was because the game 1 also was last stock, so at least I was being competitive with.
That's really good to hear. Like I'm glad it helped you out a lot.
Yeah. So That's all I wanted to
Heartbreaking
say.
finale Evo Grand Final Set 4 Genesis. I love that.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah, I hope this was a helpful lesson, and if you're confused about any of the details, feel free to message me and we can chat about the Marth matchup more. But other than that, I hope you have a good day and it was fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so
All
much.
right, peace.